So I saw X-Men Days of Future Past. Hi everyone, I'm Brandon Prosek and this is the So I Saw show. I am the biggest X-Men fan. I've always loved X-Men ever since I was a kid, watched the animated series. I remember being in the theaters back in 2000 seeing the first movie when that was, wow, 14 years ago. I was what, like 8? I can't do math. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled on any twist, just go ahead, go see the movie because it's awesome, and then come back and then check out this review. Talk about the bads first, get those out of the way, and then get over to the goods. Bads will be a little bit quicker because honestly, there weren't that many. Being in the future and sending Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, to the 70s, of course, explaining it to people, it's going to be ludicrous. So there's a lot of scenes where he's just like, no, you're not going to believe me, but I'm from the future. Sure, that's fine. We got some great comedic moments. I think the problem was there's so many different times where Wolverine would go like, now you're not going to believe me, but I'm from the future. I'm not blaming Hugh Jackman, I'm blaming the writing. As an audience, we understand he got sent in the past. Last bad thing, and a lot of people are probably going to, get pissed at me, but Peter Dinklage played Bolivar Trask. I love Peter Dinklage. Don't blame him that his character was a little underwritten. I wanted him to be a little bit more evil. He can't have everything. This cast was huge. So I understand how some people just might be underwritten because to write an ensemble piece like this, that's hard. Jump on over to the good side, and there's a lot more. First good thing, you might find, this whole time travel premise to be a bit ridiculous if you don't know the Days of Future Past comic storyline. The writer, and the way they executed it, it explained it very well for both the people that love the story in the comics and for the general audience. That's my girlfriend Shelby, who actually saw the movie with me, and she knows nothing about X-Men. She thinks I'm insane for how much I love X-Men and comic book movies, but she understood what was happening. Another good thing, I loved there were so many shout-outs to X-Men First Class. A lot of people were complaining, hey, why are there so many people from First Class, like Banshee and Azazel or Emma Frost? Why aren't these people in it? What happened to them? Did they just disappear? Well, they wrapped that up. They showed them that, Trask actually captured them from testing on them and they were killed. So I love that even little things like that, they wrapped up. A lot of people were worried when they released photos of Evan Peters and his portrayal of Quicksilver. People were like, oh God, his outfit, he looks ridiculous. Because it's like, wait until you see the movie. It might be a lot better than you think. Evan Peters, his Quicksilver character, he was only in maybe 4 or 5 scenes, but he stole those scenes. I won't go into it, but there's an action sequence that he did with his super speed abilities that, wow, I was just laughing, not at it, but just enjoy, because I'm like, yes. Talking a lot about the past storyline, we're going to talk a little bit about the future storyline, which, had people from the original X-Men trilogy in. They're in kind of like this dystopian, apocalyptic future where the Sentinels have kind of ruled everything. And those Sentinels, holy fucking shit, they fuck shit up. I'm sorry for all the swears, but goddamn, these things were brutal. Sure, they weren't, people weren't gushing blood or whatever, but people got, their heads taken off. People got just blasted in the face with fire, exploded, impaled, whatever. They were getting demolished. It may shock a lot of people, but my standout performance, in my opinion, of, and I'm not talking about action, I'm not talking about funny moments, I'm talking about, real, acting that made me feel for him. I have to say, James McAvoy. His younger professor was going through a lot of shit this time, and I think I loved it. I loved him becoming, more mature, battling with the loss of his legs that happened at the end of First Class. Professor X is not a guy that's kicking ass like Wolverine. He's not stealing scenes like Quicksilver being hilarious. He's like the heart and the soul of the X-Men. And I guess the mind would make more sense. First Class, feel that movie belonged to Michael Fassbender. That was more his story than James McAvoy's. He stole that show. I feel like this one was more James McAvoy's story. A little shout out to Jennifer Lawrence. Her character, sure, they made her the badass Mystique that Rebecca Romijn played in the 2000 versions. I'll list the X-Men movies for you. There's X-Men, X2, X-Men 3, X-Men Origins Wolverine, First Class, The Wolverine, and then this movie. A lot of people hated these two movies. Do you know what this whole time travel thing did so beautifully, so masterfully? What they did? Like a McAvoy, just washed them away. Said, you know what? You can just forget about these two movies. I'm just, as an X-Men fan, as a movie fan, I am just so pleased. And did you have any doubt by the enthusiasm throughout my whole review? What am I going to give this? I'm going to give it my #1 rating. It was tremendous, and I'm going to buy it the day it comes out on DVD. Thank you. You fixed it. You fixed this series. You put it back on course. Whether you're watching me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, moviepilot.com, whatever you're watching me on, please comment below. Let's discuss. If you want to find me on Twitter, my Twitter's right there, @thepros. If you want to, if you could also subscribe to that page, click that big red button below. I'm also going to put links to my moviepilot.com profile where I write articles, and you can also catch my reviews. That link will be in the description of the video below. I'm getting sweaty. Who gets sweaty? I'm just sitting doing a review. That's just, ooh, that's how pent up I am. Alright guys, thanks for watching. And now you saw the So I Saw show.